Me? No.
I'm all good. I'm good. I promise I'm good here.
It was.
You
I
sure?
did absolutely nothing. Good. Are you good?
You did go to the zoo while you were down at the big
We did.
safari. Did you go to
We
safari
did.
park?
Oh, yes. We had to go to the safari park.
I'm gonna hope that's healthy.
I think
Which cream is in too? I don't know what that is.
So meringue, then.
I am so sure, Greg, what you're drinking.
I made you one. Well, I made you a
Yes.
sweet one. This is that's just
Steam milk.
It's made out of, the crust is made
It's
out of
foamy.
eggs,
It's
mozzarella.
It looks good.
I'm gonna try that.
Are you on the carnivore now?
No, I've been eating healthy.
I got you.
I've been,
I know you look
it's
good.
been working, but it's, I see stuff like that and you're like, man, this is good.
We'll get rolling.
Oh.
So Jake was only got responses from 3.
No, Jake only sent. Jake sent 3 and got responses from
yes.
1.
That one I sent out too. I know he had surgeries
Yeah.
and I think he works like night shifts, so he sleeps during the day.
Yeah.
So like him and I connecting is probably not going well either.
Sure.
So
Well, yeah, I emailed Claire's
yeah, any
nephew.
response?
Nothing from him.
Oh.
Got nothing from him. I emailed my buddy Cameron at Blue Ridge 4x4. He was interested. He and I discussed it, but I didn't receive anything. I didn't receive a formal bid back.
Okay.
And so the one response that I did receive, though,
Yeah, I saw that.
was from, let me pull it up here, CAD Design, which is over in Hot House. His name's Chris. He's actually done some work for us before, which was for Kathy's Gavel plaque.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. So CAD Graphics, they're right outside of Hot House, super close by. I'll just read you guys what he sent back. He said, thanks for the RFQ. We are most happy to help. I've attached a proof plaque for consideration and comment. There's much to convey. I will try to be brief. My proposal is a 10 to 12 plaque made of modified acrylic. The material on the left is reverse engraved, which is nice for high traffic areas as people love to touch. It may prove beneficial over time, especially with respect to cleaning and maintenance. The material on the right is a bit more copper colored and would be engraved on the front face. Material cost between the two is effectively the same. The cost for each plaque as described would be $120 or less depending on final design approval and quantity. These materials are 100% UV stable and exterior rated. They clock in at 1/16 of an inch at your discretion. We can also add a backer material 1/8 thick to make them more rigid. Additional costs would be around $20 per unit for that. Materials would be permanently matted with appropriate adhesive. Material is available in various colors. I've attached a graphite swatch option that would be very nice in my opinion. Screw hole size and location can be determined at a later date. Mine are just illustrative. Turnaround time would be 7 to 10 business days from approval. And if you have any additional comments or questions, let me know. Feel free to reach out on my cell. So I spoke with Chris. I sent him, I had a chance to speak with him in person. He said that he estimates that we can probably go lower than that 120. He said that that was kind of a high point, he thought. And based on the number, though, he said he could definitely do it for around that, probably less. I connected with him on the today regarding, I said, hey, just want to make sure we've got, different QR codes for everything. He said, that's not a problem. He said, I was anticipating you guys would provide the QR codes. He said, I can provide them as needed. So I figured we'd come up with them. I also sent him 3 designs actually. And he said, no problem, easy peasy, we can make changes as necessary. So that's kind of where things stand with the one bid we received.
But I think that might be a really
to be honest with
viable
you,
option.
he was the guy that I was most hoping to
that's
hear
great.
back from.
That's fantastic.
Because they're local, they're super experienced. They do this is their business. This is what they do. And like I said, we worked with them before. They're super professional. 7 to 10 day turnaround, and yeah. So
let's see. Would it be possible to get like a sample like, I'm such a visual,
Sure.
like, is there a way to ask him to do, and I mean, not like a full sketch printed, but like the materials that are gonna be used?
Oh, yeah, sure,
Like,
sure.
could he just provide that?
I would assume so.
Okay.
I can definitely connect with him on that and
Yeah.
ask.
The metal, was there metal inside the acrylic, is that what I was
I
listening?
don't believe so.
Okay, so it's just acrylic.
Yeah, it was, he sent me a couple of photos. So you can see, here on the left is the acrylic, and then this is more of the metal finish. And so, this is the acrylic, which actually was pretty coppery, in my opinion. And I kind of appreciated the thought that he put into the idea of this holding up better to the
Is
touch.
that in that email that you?
It is, yep. Yeah, I think he responded all on that one.
I think, well.
If he didn't, then we can,
You're saying the acrylics he's recommending?
he recommended the acrylic, yes, because he said that it would hold up better with touch over time.
That's what, I don't know, that's just a.
Yeah. And then, he also provided the graphite swatch, which we said he thought might look nice also. But I thought that graphic acrylic, yeah, there you go, there's a little bit bigger.
Which one you like, Mr. Barker?
I want what's going to last the
That's
longest.
my viewpoint, that's whatever, so. Longest one.
Well, and maybe we can see a sample of both and then, in person, and
Good
then
point.
say, okay, which one will hold up longer?
Sure, and the good news being that we could move forward regardless, as
Yeah.
the cost is effectively
Yeah,
the same.
right,
So-
right.
Well, right there's a sample you can send.
Right, yeah, exactly. Mhm.
Wonderful.
And it would have the glass, the whole thing's acrylic, so it's not like we'd ever, like, what if we ever had to change it out? Are we getting, I mean, there
Oh, I
was-
don't, I think we would have to kind of move from pace, right? Like, I mean, I think that it's good, as I understand it, what he's gonna do is go right into the acrylic. There's not gonna be some sort of, mounting inside of it, or glass case, or plastic
I
on
mean,
the top.
for the most part, we shouldn't have to, because it's a historical building
Right.
that we're talking about, so the
Sure.
history is still the history.
Sure.
I just didn't know if anything got damaged or whatever. It's
Mhm.
not like you replace the inside or the whole thing gets replaced.
Which we need to discuss if a building owner refuses to allow us to put it on the side of the building, what our option is gonna be, some type of post outside the building on city property, and what's that gonna look like? Especially like if we do something at the graveyard, Cemetery Hill, ballpark, or railroad. I'd like something out here for the railroad piece of it, so you've got two right here, if we have the dollars. What are we gonna mount that on? And also we need to think about, on the side of the building, how's it gonna be mounted? I've seen some really nice mounts previously, rather than just tacked on there, screwed in. But that again, the building owner's got to agree to allow us to drill into or
It's
attach to
possible,
that building.
it's possible, I would imagine, just because they have seemingly, I mean, he was pretty Johnny on the spot with this stuff. I would assume that he may have some suggestions for us as to alternatives in terms of screwing and things.
And
whatever.
maybe that's a good visual for us to
Sure,
look at
sure.
too, if he could bring that in
Okay.
at one of our, like, what's our time frame still? It's
26th
Of May.
of May.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe one more meeting, bring those materials in, and then from there, it's
Okay.
gotta be go time.
Yep, yep. That'd be
Has
wonderful.
anybody been to the Twisted Tomato in Blue Ridge? If you go to the front of Twisted Tomato as you're going in, they have, I don't know if it says for seating, is it like a special
It's-
area?
No, it's like right at their post stand. It's the Twisted Tomato sign. I believe it
Basically,
is.
the way it's mounted is really nice, something similar to that. It's got these bolt-looking pieces that
It's
come
probably
out.
they're probably screwed in. It's just probably a cap on it,
Yeah.
so that you don't see the screw.
Oh,
It's just like a finisher.
But something that kind of pulls out from.
Yeah, it's like right off the
a little
building.
bit, which makes it's really nice. But and of course, those are costs. I guess we need to know what that's going to be, and then who's going to allow us to put on the side of the building.
And then who's installing?
Correct. That's true.
Yeah,
Can
and-
they install?
no, I would not assume that they would.
Surely we got our employees
The issue is, I mean, I know our guys are qualified to do it. It's just the issue is, you know, drilling into historical brick building is very concerning to me. So there's a level of liability there.
I see what you're saying.
Oh, for sure. That's why I don't know if you've had a chance to look for like a like that would be part of a agreement, contract / waiver piece.
And perhaps, mounting, I think, would probably look the best. For that purpose, perhaps like industrial grade adhesive would make more sense.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say nothing. Is there anything, it's just an idea, you can do what you want with it. Is there any way they could put up a storefront window?
And not adhere to the building.
Yeah, just have that thing right there in the face of that window. I don't know, that's up to y'all.
I mean, most of them, like in our building, I can't speak for the owner of the building, but it's easy enough to do there, for sure.
That way you won't be attaching to the exterior, you just have something on the inside, right
I'm
there
trying to
at your
think which
face.
building would have trouble doing that, right? Like which one doesn't have a good,
Right.
and you'll see it on ours, but there's like El Rio's building, that means you've got booths up against their windows.
Right. Dave's Drugs, or the corner building where Tacoma Outfitters is, that may or may not. And does it get lost there?
Right.
And but we have to have somewhat of some consistency, and I mean that very,
Right.
like,
Agreed.
I know that may not be perfect overall, but like when we have people out searching for these,
You're right.
like if they're looking, yeah,
Right,
like
absolutely.
literally it should be in the when you're looking, it should be the bottom right-hand corner of the side of the building,
Right.
left or right side of the building.
Now, I will say though, my thought with that, I agree with you largely, we need to get as much consistency as possible, but if we're going to create like a map of these things, then we can include, hey,
Where it is
stop
on the
number
building.
11 is, right, exactly, yeah, stop, whatever is located here.
So I guess we need to get with building owners to find
How
out.
hard is that for you to do?
I mean, basically, we have recognized about 8 locations, of which you got about 3 or 4 building owners.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've got 2, New York and the old theater building are owned by the same person. You've got El Rio and the Dave's Drug. It's the same. The Abernathy's and Dave's Drug. It's same owner.
Okay.
And then about 3 buildings is the other.
So really, you're not talking about a ton of people. you
Right.
have to
We're not
know.
going to have to
Okay.
send letters. So.
Well, and speaking on that, if it's, minimal owners because they own multiple spots, but how many total plaques are you thinking?
So in the email I sent,
Yeah.
there are 8. There are 8
Maybe.
buildings that I feel need to be
Okay.
done, and then there are 10 other spots that I raised my hand and said, hey, you might want to look here. I
10
feel-
more, you think?
And just so, yeah, right. I mean, we can always add more in the future, and it's determining, what our fees are going to be from this, and then how many do we want to do.
Okay.
And go from there.
Mhm.
I just, there's some historical locations where things happen, but, I feel like probably the train needs to be bumped up because there's a great history there. The ballpark.
And you're
it's-
talking the train that comes from Tennessee,
Well,
correct?
both. I mean,
Both.
it's one line, but I would want the marker here,
Okay.
somewhere here. And again, I'm working with a project with Tennessee Over Hills right now. We're in early stages, but potentially there could be some really nice things happen out here. at
That's
some
great.
point. So
Yeah,
hopefully,
of course,
fingers
it's the
crossed.
City Hall building.
City Hall building is definitely one of the 8. So
It's one of the 8.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is 100-year-old. We're at the top of the list as far as the historical pieces go. Us and Abernathy's are both 100 this year.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. So.
Okay.
It's that ice cream social.
I don't know how and I mean, I don't know what you guys thought about that price. I thought it was
Oh, I think it's
quite
great.
reasonable.
I think it's
And I
fantastic.
think it gives us the flexibility if we want to do the additional ones. I would suggest that we go ahead.
Is there any type of, I'm sorry if you said this already, the warranty on these bad boys are usually how
That I don't know.
long? Like, I'm thinking like discoloration or potential, any,
Let's see. Yeah, he said UV stable and exterior rated, so I would imagine that they've got quite a long life based on that. But I can find out some additional information on that as well.
and if this person is available to come
Yeah.
and be in person, that would be awesome,
sure.
right? Because then it's not just, it
Sure,
could be
sure,
whoever
sure.
to ask questions.
Absolutely. Saul has worked on an updated design, kind of taking everybody's ideas. Do you want to share that, Saul, with the group?
Yeah, that's nice.
We,
Long enough for really blind people can see.
we wanted to get the Tennessee Downtowns
Yeah.
logo.
Nice and clean.
Yeah, and it just feels symmetrical and light.
Can,
It makes
can you-
sense.
Can you click it now?
You guys would, like, if you grab your
Oh,
phone
yeah.
and you scan the QR code, it should work.
Okay, let's see what we got here.
Right now
Let's
it's
see if
just-
it works, okay? No pressure.
Right now, it's just going to our history page, but I've already got some of the things built out in there for these.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
It's not gonna let you.
Well, it really wants to, though, just so everyone knows. It's trying, so
Yeah, so
it's
for-
going somewhere.
Super. Oh, no. you
Yeah, no, it
gotta
looks
rub
lovely.
on with
Yeah, I
you.
think that's really
Mhm,
nice.
mhm.
I think that incorporates the best of
Yeah.
everything we've seen.
And we did the three grand division piece, the stars there on the right. Like I said, Tennessee Downtowns, their logo is really, really,
Intricate.
say it's, yeah, intricate, it's just being really
Do we
challenging.
know, because on my other grant that I'm working on, I have to include the Tennessee Arts Commission logo on it.
Okay,
So we may need to double check on this.
Sure,
As we
absolutely.
tell her the number of what we're thinking, if we have to include that anywhere.
right. I wanted to, definitely, I'd love to, it just.
It's
you've-
really
you've-
big.
Yeah, you've seen all the,
And perhaps there would be the option to substitute, in partnership with, Tennessee Downtowns. Like, you know what I'm saying, right under, rather than include
Oh, big old
logo, right,
logo,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, something
yeah.
intrusive like that.
Yeah, let's ask that question.
Okay.
at the bottom, if you notice the little mountain detail, if we like this design, then we will draw out our mountain skyline and make it as close to
What
what
we
you
can see
what
from
you
here.
can see. Yeah, like Hemp Top, Big Frog, coming down to Pine Top, some as far around as we can. So that's just a added little
Look good.
nugget. Yes.
Okay.
No fun. All right.
So tentatively, we need 8 of these, right?
Correct.
with-
Starting out.
Starting out, right?
Right.
Okay.
I'd love to add. I'd like to get as many as we possibly can.
So
At that
roughly,
price,
if-
I'm thinking, my goodness.
okay, let's just, with labor, let's just come up with a number. I don't know what labor cost would be to install these things, but
I mean,
like if we're starting out at what, 100 and what did he quote us?
he quoted us 120 per piece.
Uh-huh.
And so, I don't know, let's estimate that we're gonna add an industrial adhesive and that throws, I don't know. Let's just call it $30, right? We'll just round it up to
And then
150
installation.
and then let's just tack another 50 on and
So
call
what
it
if we,
200.
I was gonna go 200
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
So 200 at those 8 signs, so we're still great
Yeah.
on money, like that's not an issue. So then with the, cause this is what we'll have to decide, we'll have to decide that we're okay with the materials
Mhm.
the next time we meet. We'll have to type this up and send it in an email to Tennessee Downtown Grants. Tell them that we have 8 of these signs that we wanna do, here's what labor, installation, plus the materials cost. And then from there, you've got your benches, your garbage cans. So did everyone kind of come to a consensus last time that we like that one style, and how many of those would you wanna get? So we can kind of have a rough idea going into next meeting.
Sure.
Well,
Let's.
Since we're thinking $200
Uh-huh.
closely, can we go ahead and just add a couple more at these other places Greg feels it's historically?
I was trying to find, I had it pulled up a second ago, but then I pulled up Jake's. Give me a second to,
I don't have my phone, I must have left it at the house.
when did we last meet?
What is that, $3,600 for 18? If we're just going to the
Yeah.
high school?
Yeah.
Yeah,
God, that's cheap.
yeah, that's, I felt pretty good
So the
about
bench is
that.
gonna be looking good at Copperhill. Yeah, that's gonna look nice.
What's the timeline of this? So you won't get the money for what, like another
Yeah,
year?
here's the other, this is the piece we haven't really dabbled in.
Mhm.
So, but I've been told that they can help us and that they know how to do it because they've done it many, many times. There's not currently $15,000 sitting in the Discover Copper Basin account. There's roughly under 5,000, I think like 44 or something. Okay, so what we do is I think we make a payment, we get reimbursed. We make a payment, we get reimbursed. And it's a process, but that's what I'm envisioning her plan as being. So it still is a process after this, but as soon as we get the information to her, then the next steps is what she'll walk us through as far as how we,
How the money's dispersed?
yep.
Okay.
Yep. We'll have to submit for like maybe we start with the signs, right?
Yeah,
And then we submit those receipts.
Mm-hmm,
I have money in the account to cover the cost of that right
Right.
now.
mm-hmm.
So that's not a problem.
sure.
And then we maybe have to just have spring.
No,
You see
what-
what's happening,
No,
right?
and what crossed my mind was the idea that we would, what are the benches, 1,000?
There's our.
So we only spend what's, you know what I'm saying?
No, I know.
We rather than ever
Can you
getting,
send us
rather than
10
ever getting,
separate invoices?
exactly, rather than getting, a 15,000 whack, we just do, we
Yeah.
spend 4, we get 4 back. We
Yes.
spend 4 again.
That's
Yeah.
exactly how it works.
Yeah, okay.
That's exactly.
All right, cool.
So we gotta have this in by a certain date, but once we get our plan in, does the money have to be spent by then?
Oh, no.
But we can go 2
No,
years
no.
ahead, just say, just
Yeah,
if it
we
takes
just have to
2
have
more-
our plan to them and
Gotcha.
submitted
Okay.
by that date.
Okay.
don't have
So
to-
that the rest of the process can start
We don't have,
happening.
money doesn't have to be out the door by that day.
No.
Wonderful, that's good. They give us plenty of time.
Yeah, well, what'll happen then also is whatever the bench company and garbage can company is, they have to send us a formal quote as well. So, just like the CAD
Right.
company. So then every time we get something like that, then I share that with her. So that's why maybe tonight we can kind of talk about how many garbage cans and benches you want
I don't think we're
because
doing garbage cans, are we? But
If we can, I
Oh,
guess,
if we
maybe
can.
we will.
Well,
Benches is great.
sidewalk
How
where
many
the
benches
benches
how many
are.
benches we talking
I
about?
don't know, haven't even, I'm not down there and looked where we can even fix them. Yeah.
So,
Greg probably has.
so in front of the old bank,
Right,
you've got basically, you've got a place for 5 benches there.
6
in
lights,
that
5
space.
benches.
That's correct,
Right.
yeah, in between the light pieces, enough room, because the benches are typically, 5-6 feet long. So there's room for people to walk, and you kind of want to create somewhat of a, it's like the idea would be to put them back,
That's what I was just gonna ask.
Well, I'm sure
between
ADA's
the
got something.
lights.
Are we gonna have any issues with traffic? Foot traffic? Like,
Right.
is the spacing gonna be
If you put them,
hindered?
correct, if you put them around the lights, like you should have enough room on either side, based on Greg's, except the one place you might be tight is gonna be up on the end where El Rio's is, because you've got power pole between the 2 lights right there, and you've kind of got, that whole area was very cluttered at one point, and still is, but there you might want to opt for something different, or pull one out. But you've got at least 4 there, probably 5 you can do. And I think if you do between the light posts, you clear that back area where next to the parking space for folks to navigate down the sidewalk. Then people are sitting off to the left, kind of next to where the cars would be parked. But I feel like that kind of helps create a little barrier between the sidewalk and that's
traffic.
right. But placement ultimately,
Well, that's the widest widest sidewalks we have.
We just have to check with what ADA, that's the main
Right.
thing, that's, make sure we're meeting, before they come down there and lay the hammer on us. I don't think
What do we
they,
gotta have, 36 inches?
I don't know, that's what I
I
don't.
mean, we can check on that piece of it. And at the end of the day, you can use benches anywhere.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, compliance wise, that area right there is probably the only space, if it's even compliant with anything.
That's why, that other part's what I'm worried about.
Right. The next step for the city is to get compliant. It's just,
Sure,
That's a
you're an evolving compliance. Like, you gotta start somewhere and then.
right.
Over there in front of, the lake space, what, the no building spot there between Talents and O'Neill's Building. Is that not wide enough maybe to put a bench?
You could possibly get something there. That's a little wider space
little wider
too
space, too?
than it is down in front of Sarah's business. So,
Mm.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
very-
yeah.
Down through
So
there.
that, and, our sidewalks are challenging right there.
Yeah.
So
So, I mean, I wouldn't,
if we start with right there, I mean, that's a start. Can we put a trash can on the end? Do you think past that last light pole toward Hobbs?
I think we need to go look, and
I
I think we
think,
need
yeah,
to
go
measure the
measure
cans
and
and
look.
look and see
Okay.
where, because the sidewalks are very challenging.
They
this year.
are.
You know, hopefully someday we'll get new sidewalks.
Oh, hopefully someday, fingers
That's-
crossed.
But again, one step at a time. So,
Exactly.
but I think we need to measure and go from there.
Okay, but we'll think it right there on that sidewalk though. It's a good place to start for
Sure.
benches.
If
And-
you guys
and-
want, when you're ready to go look at spots and stuff, I'd enjoy doing that
Sure.
if I could tag along.
Okay.
That'd be great.
And, you've got the spot by Yellowbird, but right there would be a great place for a bench and for a garbage can right at
Yeah.
Yeah.
as you cross the bridge. We have lots of areas, out
Oh, yeah.
here, so
Out here
So
would be
don't-
a perfect.
let's not limit ourselves just to here. Maybe we need to think.
Well, right here would be a great place for one, especially if everything works out with the railroad and we've got.
Correct.
If we get to do that off of Depot Road
Right.
Do
in the
we,
yard.
so, that being said, how many, do we have a rough estimate on, are we thinking we just spend the rest of the money on benches?
Well, I don't know if we spend the rest.
That's what I'm saying, I don't know.
I wonder their input, because they're interested in garbage cans.
Right.
The challenge we've had with garbage cans is getting
Yes.
folks to not, so we need to
Not
find
use
the
them for
garbage
household.
cans. I was looking at McKay's bills, not me, but I noticed in McKay's bills this past weekend, appeared that they were having the same issue as we were having right here.
Okay.
Because it looked
Yeah.
like a very full can with,
Mhm.
obviously not just foot traffic garbage
Right.
that was in there. It looked like people had done little bags and stuff in the can. So that's our challenge.
Well, and I think looking at location too, I know what happened in front of our buildings with the garbage cans, but also, we have so many tourists and stuff, they're like, get out of their cars with, take all the trash out of their car and put in bags like that and throw them in the garbage can when they get out
What,
to walk around.
what about flower planters then instead of trash cans?
So looking at those planters, I'm all about getting planters.
Oh,
I was
Some pretty.
the ones that match those look like garbage cans to me.
Right,
They are just round. It's just like you stuck flowers on top of a garbage can.
right.
So I'm all open to planters, but now you can really get into some dollars with planters. To get what it is that we really want. But
Okay,
you get a
well,
couple of large
table
planters.
that then.
I'm for it.
Everyone
I'm
was
absolutely-
worried about who was gonna maintain those, who was gonna water them. Okay, as long as the mayor will do it, that's perfect.
At the moment, I think I've got the guys gonna build us some, so
No,
maybe,
really,
maybe this
yes, I'm just
summer
kidding.
we can do a test
He
run
knows I'm
and
full
see
of
how
that.
it works. Obviously, my tulip project up front didn't go so well
Yeah, but
this
there's
year.
still, wait, what's coming up right now?
It's too
It's the tulips, but
But,
they're,
yeah, I know
they
what you're saying.
got a little trunk.
Yep.
Some children played it right after we planted them.
With shovels and
Yeah, they were
buckets.
sweet.
So-
It was fun. Next time.
With the trash cans, this was, I considered this as a potential option.
Yeah.
That might
hinder.
hinder big things going
Yes,
in. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
I'm thinking that too.
Yeah, that was the one that came
And
to
I-
mind for me.
I thought the benches sort of looked like that, right?
That's
Right?
similar, I
They-
think,
similar
yeah.
to
They
that.
did. They,
And obviously somebody did the best they could to keep it so it wasn't bulk
Right,
garbage.
right.
the
It was-
queen one or something?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
queen
queen
one.
metal, there you go.
Yeah, see, they have the top on them too. There,
Yes, exactly.
to hinder that.
And quite honestly, I wonder if we couldn't find some that have the lower, that thing lower on them, you know?
Mhm, so
I
all
mean,
you could do is
it'd
just-
make it, you know, so you couldn't stuff a Walmart bag full of junk in it, you know? But you could slide a Coke bottle in there or whatever.
Yeah, I like the ones with the small little, like the recycle ones. Those are always tacky. You know, they're big plastic with just the
Oh, yeah, with the, yeah.
very limited, but
Sure,
they're
you see
locked.
that.
I think those all look very sharp, as long as, we can, like we've been talking about.
Well, I don't think we'll get to do a whole lot of these, but maybe one or two,
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
Not a lot.
yeah.
And, you know, I like just even a bench with, how much is that? I can't get my glasses on.
$6.95.
I'd get the benches first, and I'd put a couple of cans out there just to see how they do.
Yeah.
And if we
Exactly.
don't
You can always
like
order
it,
one
Okay.
later.
yeah, if we don't like it, just say,
We can do that later. And that's what I'm thinking.
but I'm gonna put benches.
Yeah,
So
me
those
too.
banners and stuff, we're out of those, we're not doing that no more.
One without back and one with what? Wait,
That's
how,
what I wanna do on
Huh?
that, on that other one.
if we had to
These-
pick,
On there, they have them here.
each bench was how much again, one more time?
1,000, I believe.
1,000.
$9.95 plus, I'm
Yeah.
sure, tax and.
And then we'll have bolts and all that stuff, so 1,000 plus parts and labor.
And we can start with these and then do that, adopt a bench or whatever
Right.
later, and that way we can have them, people can donate, do the bench with them, family placards,
Sure.
just something pretty for downtown.
So to go back to the QR code project, other places that I had mentioned are, of course, Cemetery Hill, Ballpark, the Railroad, St. Catherine's, St. Mark's, Copperhill at UMC, probably a marker at the current location, but give credit to the old location, because there's a lot of folks here that really loved that old building. Then Colonial Hotel, Space, we're in Train Depot where it once was, which is a little outside, that'd probably be the last because it's a little outside of any walking ability for folks, but you know, you can still maneuver around there. I put the Tinga Hotel site, which is basically where the candle shop area is. That was back in the day. And then the old smelter store site, which is where the post office is now. There was a nice building there that burned. I said Railroad. I think that's pretty much it. And the old bridge, obviously. I think if you did a nice bench there and a
Yeah, a placard.
placard would be, give all the histories of the bridge. So anyway.
The ballpark is tricky because you will have to post that one probably into the ground. And there's not, I'm not saying not to do it, I'm just saying, right now it's just a big open field, right?
Right.
So it's really gonna be hard, like, I would say, just my opinion, that when you get a project started over there, then put your placard up. Because then people can see it in motion, even if it's not done, you can do it early, you know?
Well, and we could.
Or future home of something there.
Well, and we would have the ability, given that it's kind of, I don't know, the history of the ballpark's not gonna change, so we could we could have the thing.
Right.
And then put it up once
Good
things
point.
get going.
There's some great old photos of huge, I don't even know what was going on there. Just like huge crowds of people back in the.
That's incredible.
You're like, what's happening?
Can you
That
do
could
one
be
of
a whole
those-
ceremonial thing, like, like when you have plans drawn up or something for that space. I'm more worried about a floating placard out there where somebody's gonna just take it.
That was a big
and
house
go.
scrap metal.
I get what
If
you're
you put that somebody,
Well,
what you're
can you
saying.
do one of them boxes, like, when you go to these parks and stuff, where they've got a thing, and then it's got the pictures and stuff on it, where it's,
Oh, that might be fun, actually, if you have a
if
cool,
you can just.
Oh,
Yeah,
historical
shed on
picture.
box of them, yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be
And we
cool.
could do that, that could be a labor project, but on this list that you've got here of the others, what would be your top ones? Like, can you pick 2 or 3 more? I say we go ahead and do at least 10 signs.
I think the old bridge definitely
Yeah, that's a good
needs,
spot.
because everybody loves the bridge.
And we're gonna try to get a bench there too,
Yeah.
so we can do that one.
The history of the railroad is really interesting, I think, and you get a lot, a lot of people who are coming here are coming literally on the trains.
Listen, my father-in-law was the biggest train guy and then it sunk into my son, so.
Oh, man, I mean, that Etowah train is
It's a big
train
deal, so
nerds.
I, enthusiasts all around will come
Yeah.
just to see that.
Sure.
Cemetery Hill has a great history to it. It's just, again, kind of like it would be sitting out there by itself a little bit, but,
Does it
that-
have a, I've been up there a couple times, but does it have, like, is there a building? There's nothing, right?
No. Just stones.
Mhm.
So, right now, they have like a list up there. They have what they could have done back in the the folks that are buried there, and it's maybe a small history piece there. So to replace it, and that's made it. So
That's
nobody's-
good.
So
That's great.
We can mount it on Star.
we could.
So we could add those two, the railroad and the bridge, to the list that we've got now, and just shoot for 10 to start with, and then work on the others later. What do you think?
Yeah, we could go that route. I mean, it's.
I mean, with the
real-
process, if we can, get them, everything done and done with $200.
Well, and I mean, our turnaround time is so slight that if we can, if we were to decide, I don't know, later on down the road,
Sure,
those
we
are
can-
quick creations.
We
Yeah,
can,
right.
we can add. We
Mhm.
can
Yeah.
definitely add.
I mean, once we get through the full budget, right, then all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, we still have
Right,
$400, let's add 2 more signs.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm for it.
Okay.
Okay. Works. So biggest things are, speaking to the building owners. And then I'll put Mayor Barker right now. And then Jake, you're okay contacting the CAD guy,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And see, when we schedule our next meeting, we'll shoot to see if he maybe can attend that.
Okay, and when we shoot, if he can't, I'll get him to drop a pretty
That would be great.
thorough proposal
And
as
even
to.
if he could just drop off what the material
Yeah,
is.
for sure. Yeah, I can run over there and pick some up.
That
if
everybody
we
can
need
touch
to.
and feel and
Yeah.
it'll be all.
Up there, where, you can get it. Now it's gonna drive me crazy.
And we know that we're gonna do 8 signs. It's roughly, we've budgeted close to $200 a sign. That's about approximately $1,600.
Sarah, add 2 more
Oh, yeah, 2 more.
for the railroad, one
Okay.
for the railroad, and one for the bridge. So let's shoot for 10 to
Yeah,
start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That ain't cool.
Okay.
No.
So we're good at 10.
Okay, so then we just need to, let's get a time or something, like when you guys might be available to walk around and see how many proposed benches we might need.
I would say right now, we got a meeting at 6:30.
No, don't worry about tonight,
Okay.
but I mean, I'm good. You tell me and I'll.
You gonna be in town?
I'll be.
Get up trash.
Oh, you know
Oh,
what? I'm gonna
we
be
could
picking up
just-
the trash tomorrow.
Oh, you are? What
Yeah.
time? I'll come.
Meeting at noon.
Meeting at noon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where you meeting tomorrow?
I'm off too.
City Hall.
City Hall? Well, I've got to go to the, but I'm coming after, I've got the dinner.
And on that note, with the Friday event, my comment was start there and just go, like, I think.
Straight down.
Yeah.
Oh, Cody.
Right.
Mhm.
And then
That's
the back streets, like,
Mhm.
they're, that one space will take up.
A
quite
long
bit
time.
of
I actually want to bring my weed whacker, but it's not my property. Just, I would love to just, it's like overgrown and, whatever.
So I want to take a lot of but yeah, so if you start there and then with a group and bring this way, I think that'll eat up 3 hours.
Okay. Got it.
Most likely. I didn't mean just stay in that lot.
Yes, no.
So-
Well, if we don't make it very far.
But there's
I think there will be a good, I've heard several people say they're coming, so.
Okay. And spread, I know I've done it previously, like we just spread out, like I've actually cleaned that specific space before and then go, we got behind, JJ's
Yeah.
back in that area, a lot of trash
Right.
accumulates back
Uh-huh.
there, Main Street on, or.
Are you available, I mean, you're kind of working, you're working Friday morning.
I am working and it's tomato day, so.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Tomatoes.
So.
Customer appreciation.
I
that's
don't
what
know
I
if anyone from city council wants to come down. United Way, Polk, United Way is coming over, and I was going to introduce the two groups. So if anyone's available to stop
I
by.
will look and see
What
what I've
time?
got.
Yeah.
So it's between 8 and 11.
Okay, oh, okay. I'll find availability.
Okay, great. I would love to introduce you to them. They're
Is that
very nice
Friday?
ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
And then
the
there's
second-
donuts and
Friday
coffee
the
if you come towards the end, so that's a perk.
Yeah, she asked it this morning when I stopped in there and got breakfast. Did you go in beforehand or afterwards? Have you talked to her today?
No, you know what, I'll go in tomorrow morning and talk to her, because,
Okay.
and then I wasn't sure if I don't know that she wants us bombarding her because of the train, so I don't know if she wants me to have it there or where she wants it, so I'll ask.
She
Where?
said down at your place is what she told me.
Okay, all right, then there you go.
So-
Are we meeting at the brewery?
Yeah, in front of the brewery, I'll have garbage bags and hand stuff and a little picker uppers and vests, if anyone's concerned about their safety, that have yellow vests.
I'm not sure over. I need one of those just now.
You do. Just flip it to your belt.
So,
So great.
okay, so we've got CAGA, I'm gonna come meet you tomorrow, check benches, and get a rough number. Because that's what, at the next meeting, we'll have to kind of put, once we know for sure that's, the signs sound great, I think it's gonna be amazing, so I don't have any concern there. But then we'll put together our full budget, and I'll have to email her, like, the next day and say, okay, here's here's each quantity of each thing approximately about this cost. And then they just have to say, sounds good. And then how we move forward with how we do the money part.
The,
I
I guess, will you find out if they want something other
Yep,
than?
I put that in my
Okay,
notes too.
perfect,
Yep.
that's perfect.
Mhm.
That's my
Yep.
concern, and I'll reach out to the building owners.
And the only other thing is, and maybe they'll have maybe they would be able to advise us on this, as far as a contract, let me just put this in my notes too, a contract that we would need to supply to the building owners.
That's great.
Historical buildings. Maybe they already have something that we could work off of,
That'd
you
be
know,
perfect if they did.
sample.
It's very possible.
So it's probably been vetted by an attorney already.
Uh-huh. Contractors. Okay. All right. Okay.
If they don't, if you'll get with me, I'll get with our, to ask our consultants
Okay.
and see if they can help us with it. So I would like something that's been kind of vetted.
Because once they give you the okay, then we'll have to probably quickly get them over some paperwork saying, okay, here's kind of what you're signing up for.
Perfect.
Okay.
Anything else?
What's our next date?
Yeah, we
So
need to get it.
today's the 28th of April.
And we gotta turn this in when?
May 26th is
By the
deadline.
Well, the 19th is our,
19th, I'm sorry.
the 19th is our deadline, I'm pretty sure.
What? Wait, that's the first one. What
Or was
does
it
May,
the 26th?
I know you guys usually have your meetings. What does May 7th look like for everyone?
What day is that?
It's
It's a
Wednesday.
Wednesday. I should be good for that evening.
Wednesdays typically aren't good for me,
Okay.
but I could, if it's good for Chris, I'll just send him. I mean, if he's,
Okay,
that's kind of the piece I've been working on, so if he's available, then I can send him to you guys and.
okay.
You
Yeah,
guys just
yeah, see if he's
thumbs
available.
up.
Listen, that might
That's the
change
good
things too. You know,
Yeah,
like-
sure.
But even
The
if
real
he's
deadline's
not,
26th. right?
Well, if he's not, then what I'll do,
Who's the real
we can just get
let's,
samples.
well, what I was gonna say is, let's set our
So that
date.
gives us a few
If he
days.
can't make it, then let's collectively get our questions together, and then have him, I'll send them all.
That's a good idea.
That's 4
Okay.
weeks. from
Anybody else,
Yeah.
are you okay on the 7th?
now.
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah.
What
Okay.
time are you doing this?
Can we do, alright, everyone go to 5:30 again?
Let's do it early.
Okay, alright.
5, 7, at 5:30. 5, By then, we can have maybe some close to finalization from this guy on 10 signs.
Well, we're gonna get him to bring,
Bring the
do the
materials
stuff,
and
do
stuff.
the materials.
But he can give us a
And-
real rough quote.
Oh, yeah,
estimate
yeah,
on,
yeah,
what it would cost us to do about 10 of them.
Right, sure. I would
And
think.
we have been looking into mounting.
Well, I'm gonna include that, I wrote that actually as part of the questions that I would like him to address.
Okay.
Because if he has, I mean, my thought, as you said that, was that it would probably make more sense to do like an industrial grade adhesive as opposed to screwing into brick that's probably going to turn to dust the second you put a drill bit to it. So, that would make sense to me, and he might, yeah, you know what I'm
Well, and
saying?
then half the
Big
front
hammer drill.
facade just fell off.
Right, exactly, yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's a good
Yes,
idea.
yeah, so that, yeah, I think adhesive is probably maybe what we're considering.
My luck.
I mean,
Yeah.
so the copper backing then on the back of those would be really nice, because no matter what building you put them up on, if the people will let us glue them to their building, then we'll have that copper backing and that will,
Okay.
it'll be there.
Yeah, and so he said that increase it about $20. Or-
It still seems very.
Yeah, I think so too.
We want it to look nice and we
Yeah.
want it to last.
Yeah.
so that's-
So I think we do that for sure, and then you can get folks this week.
I don't see this taking till May, the way it's going.
I hope we can get everything squared away. We just need to get
Yeah, it's been going fast, doing good.
I guess we would email these folks to get bids. So typically our bid process is to,
Pinch people.
yeah,
You
is to
need
like
at
put
least-
it in the paper, but
This, well, I mean, we can. It's, I mean, totally can if you want to.
because if it exceeds $5,000, we're supposed to put it out for bid. If it's under 5,
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Okay, so depending on which parts, like the benches you would have to put in paper. The signage so far,
Yeah, we should
will
be under.
easily be under
Right.
5.
We
Yeah.
gotta do what now?
So,
Educate.
so our procurement process for the city has certain, there's certain levels. So
Right.
if it's over $5,000.
If we spend over 5,000 or about purchasing, yeah.
Planning is
Correct, or planning.
Right.
If it's not an emergency, sometimes we've got water or sewer
Right.
issues and we just have to fix it right
Yeah.
then and there. So, but for instance, a project like this, if it's over $5,000, you're supposed to put it out for a bid. The piece of this is that who locally.
I was about to say that right there, that's something
But maybe there is. So
Put it in the paper, Greg, we're doing our
so,
part.
but if it's under 5, I'd have to look between the dots, say between 2 and 5, I think, or it could be 1,005. You have to get 3 quotes. Like he put it out, like tried to get 3 quotes. We couldn't get 3 quotes.
I got you.
And that's usually, I've heard that be a complete holdup for a lot of cities, right? Because they can never get their 3 quotes and to meet the criteria for that expenditure.
No, I don't know if this excuses us at all, but the way that we were just discussing this was almost staging, right? So we were talking about you'd buy like 4 benches at a time, perhaps. Does that? I don't know if that excuse the need. That feels like a weird workaround. I hear where you're. I mean, I'm just.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay.
So we put it out to bid, nobody says anything or comes in on the bid, we just call these people at that point?
If
Or do we call them
Well,
and let
this
them know we got
this
that
one's
bid?
easy, I think. I think just do
We-
it on your benches and see if, put it in the newspaper, but also have your information.
Well, I mean,
from-
we could. I feel like we contact them as part of the bid process.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They would be one of your bids. And then if there's a local company, which I'm not aware of either right now, but if there's a local company, then let them, they have till a certain date, right? What's the time frame? How long did you give them?
Yeah, I don't see nobody bidding on the chairs and that cut in that.
let me get with Shannon and get some guidance and make sure that I'm not taking this the wrong way.
Okay.
So I'm new on the bid process because
I didn't think about that, that's a good idea.
So
Yeah.
I just know. this
Well,
is the
listen,
process.
it's whatever, if she comes up and says,
Come on,
yeah,
have a seat.
if she comes up and says, yeah, we need to follow it this way, then let's get it in the paper as soon as possible. And
Perfect.
give a deadline on it and see what happens.
Great. Anything else?
That's wonderful,
All right.
good work.
Does that has to happen though, I would assume prior to the 19th.
Right, I'll
Yeah.
get with Shannon
Okay,
immediately
okay,
tonight. I'll
okay.
talk to her about it and see
Okay.
what.
Okay.
That's something that was totally not
Okay.
in my radar, so I
I
didn't
didn't
have
know
that
that
in my timeline.
Yeah, I just want to make sure our procurement is correct. And I think the Tennessee Downtown or the ThreeStar folks were, because they asked for a copy of our procurement process,
Uh-huh.
so which I've sent to them. So I'm
Okay.
assuming we'd be happy with this project.
Got it. Sure, that makes sense.
Cool.
Just want to be compliant.
Yep.
All right. Anything else?
Mhm.
All right. Very good.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you
I'll
guys.
see you
thought you didn't
tomorrow.
take
We'll
notes.
go,
He thought, I don't usually, but look at the people
I
that
was
take
about to
notes,
say, you
not
were-
here tonight.
I'm sorry.
I thought, she said like one last time, she didn't take notes, she wrote 4 pages.
Oh, well, the minute I usually start taking notes and I'm like sidetracked and I'm like.
Yeah, somewhere else.
Yes, I am a little bit, so
I get it.
anyway, all right.